Do we need a stronger sense of unity in the right when it comes to the major things that we agree on? Absolutely. But I have one critique I want to bring, if I can do this in a loving way, to what Brett Cooper says. Hey y'all, this is Troy. You're watching Filibusted, and I'm responding to a video that Brett Cooper put out this week, and she was responding to a video that Matt Walsh put out. And Matt Walsh has recently called for unity between conservative influencers and the right in general. And for very good reason. Like Brett Cooper points out, we are just facing an onslaught of accusations from the left right now, and just these crazy far left agendas where people are not even willing to admit what's actually real and what's not, and like just pushing the narrative in every sense. And so I 100% agree with Brett Cooper and Matt Walsh about that part of what she says. Should we be unified against the far left agenda? Absolutely. And some of the crazy ideologies that are happening, that the media is pushing? Absolutely. Do we need a stronger sense of unity in the right when it comes to the major things that we agree on? Absolutely. And me being a Christian, I would say even a little bit more niche, like the Christian conservative culture, right? We need to be unified around the things that matter most. But I have one critique I want to bring, if I can do this in a loving way, to what Brett Cooper says. So I think she misses something very critical in her appeal for unity. So in the video, she mentions several conservative influencers by name, two of them being Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. And one of the things that happens is she finally gets around to talking about Israel, and she says essentially that she doesn't even care about that. She's like, I don't even care about that. And she brushes past it and moves on. And this is where I think she's missing a very critical point. And it's that what Candace Owens has said about Israel and about Charlie's legacy, which, what is his legacy? Well, what do you leave behind? Your family and his organization, his life's work. So his legacy is his family and Turning Point USA and everything that it stands for or stood for. And what Candace Owens has said about Charlie's legacy is actually extremely critical, and it matters a lot. So when Brett Cooper says, I don't care about that, I'm like, well, I think we need to care about that, and I'm hoping that I can say this in a loving way, and I'm hoping that if Brett watches this, she's able to hear that, as not a mean criticism, but rather a loving appeal, really is what it is. And here's why I think it matters, is because the things that Candace Owens has not just implied, but has just outright said, like she recently tweeted again saying everybody was in on this betrayal against Charlie, and that she has the proof, is what she's saying is, Erica Kirk and those at Turning Point USA, they are either 100% completely wrong and they should lose their credibility, and they maybe even criminal implications there. Like she's saying either that's true if she's right, but if she's wrong, I would say the opposite is true. Like if she's right about her allegations, then Turning Point should lose its credibility, or at least those that were involved, right? If she's wrong, she should lose her credibility and we should stop listening to her. And I think that is the gap that's happening right now that Brett Cooper is not willing to admit to. Me and my producer were talking about this ahead of time, and we talked about the idea of, friends getting together. And what if you had that one friend that was drinking all the time, and they drank way too much, and it got into fights with other people, and they were just like accusing people of things and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, how do you be a good friend to that person? And they're a danger to themselves and others, whatever it was. It's like, well, you've got to actually admit what's going on. We've got to say it out loud. Without accountability, there can't truly be unity. And I think that's what's happening with Candace Owens right now. She has, Matt Walsh said, I'm not going to be disloyal to my friends. Matt, if you watch this, my loving appeal is loyalty to your friends involves holding them accountable for the things they do and say. So at the very least, even if you're not saying it publicly, are you going behind the scenes privately and saying, what is going on here? Show us the receipts. Like, is this real? Or have you stumbled into something that's not necessarily true? Because Candace Owens has made some wild accusations. So Am I missing something here? That's my question. Am I missing something? So I know that some people, follow Candace like kind of ritualistically, in the sense of like Candace can do no wrong. She can't, but the evidence is actually out there that she's made some big mistakes when it comes to this story already. So I'm not saying that she's gotten everything wrong, because I don't have that evidence, right? But there is evidence that she's gotten some things wrong. And I would say, if nothing else, at least go watch the video. I'm going to link a video below where somebody compiles the proofs against the things that Candace has said so far and the ways that she actually has gotten things wrong. And it is actually striking when you watch all the things that she's not willing to talk about, or she brushes over that she got wrong. And then she just kind of either pivots or she ignores it, whatever it may be. Go watch the video. There's a list of things that she's gotten wrong about this story so far that I think is critical. And so this is my point. Instead of saying, let's unify and I'm not going to be disloyal to my friends, and well, that doesn't matter. I think we need to say, no, it does matter. Let's unify. Let's be loyal to our friends, but let's be loyal in the sense of the truth matters. And I'm going to speak the truth to my friend in love, and I'm going to hold them accountable if that's what they need. Because without that, there can't be real unity. Instead, we're just ignoring the elephant in the room and potentially allowing people to go down a path they shouldn't be going down. And here's my final thought. If the evidence comes out that Candace Owens is 100% right, guess what? I'm going to agree with her then, because I'm going to go with what the evidence says, what the proof says. And so I'm not trying to jump to conclusions. And my hope would be that you don't either. But I think this is more than just a push past it, brush past it situation. I think we need to acknowledge some things have been said that are either going to matter a lot in one direction or the other.